UFC 323 is this Saturday night, and let's do a breakdown of everything happening on the main card and the two featured prelims. This is the official breakdown, a card headlined by two championship fights, flyweight and bantamweight, filled from top to bottom with elite talent, rising stars, and dangerous finishers. Tonight we're going deep, stylistic, stats, tendencies, strengths, and weaknesses, everything you need to know before these athletes step into the octagon. We're going to start at the top with the main event, our 5-round bantamweight title fight. Merab Dvalishvili, the Machine, versus Pyotr No Mercy Yan 2. It's a rematch. These are two of the most durable, conditioned, and relentless competitive bantamweights alive as they collide for the vacant title. Not vacant, Merab is the champion. Merab Dvalishvili, the machine-paced wrestler with an endless seeming cardio supply. Pyotr Yan, one of the most technically polished fighters in the UFC and the best striker beyond a doubt at 135. Starting with Merab, the Machine Dvalishvili breakdown. He's 34 years old, weighing 135 pounds, standing 5'6", with a 68-inch reach and a record of 21 wins, 4 losses. He's basically the definition of a pressure-based wrestler with a 38% takedown accuracy, 83% takedown defense, 4.33 significant strikes landed per minute while only absorbing 2.55. and a very strong 56% striking defense when the fight's on the feet before he gets it down to the ground. He's not a finisher, only a 24% finish rate, but he wins 76% of his wins by decision, and it's because his style forces opponents to go into deep water. He's gone the distance 19 times and has an average of 17 minutes fight time. Most importantly, in my opinion, of his 3 losses or whatever, none of them were in the first round. He survives, builds, and breaks his opponents down. His last performance was a dominant unanimous decision victory over Corey Sandhagen. The opponent, Pyotr No Mercy Yan breakdown. Now remember, this is a fight that's already happened before, and he got dominated by Merab. But Yan is 32 years old, coming in, his last weigh-in was 135.5, so great on weight. 5'7", 67-inch reach, and a record of 19 wins, 5 losses. He's a much sharper striker statistically, 54% striking accuracy, 59% striking defense, landing around 5.12 significant strikes landed per minute, but he also absorbs more strikes per minute at 4.14. He does have underrated wrestling with a 48% takedown accuracy with his Russian-style sambo trips and 84% takedown defense, which is one of the best in the bantamweight division. His finishing rate sits at 42% with 7 knockouts, but like Merab, he sees the cards pretty often with 15 career decision victories. He's coming off a strong rebound win, a unanimous decision win over Marcus McGee, as well as another unanimous decision victory that he performed flawlessly against Davison Figueiredo. Key story of this fight of the night is that the fight's going to be about pace versus precision. Merab's key advantages here are going to be his cardio weapon, constant scrambling. He's got a better striking differential by 1.78 per minute, more durable statistically, and a slight reach advantage. For Pyotr Yan, it's going to be that superior accuracy with striking and takedowns, much higher power level threat, better defensive reads. He doesn't show much when Merab feints, and just a more efficient overall offense. The question is, can Pyotr Yan maintain a range long enough to build momentum, or does Merab drag him into a grind for 25 minutes? Really, that's what it comes down to. Co-main event is going to be for the flyweight title between Alexandre the Cannibal Pantoja and the fearless Joshua Van. Fascinating generational matchup. The champion, is, we know, he's a submission-heavy finisher versus a rising 24-year-old striking phenomenon. Alexandre Pantoja breakdown is 35 years old. The champion weighs in at 125 pounds every time. Weight is not an issue for him. Stands 5'5" with a 68-inch reach. His record is 30 wins, 5 losses, and one of the most dangerous finishers in flyweight history. 67% finish rate with 40% of those wins by submission. 10 first-round finishes and only 5 losses by decision. He's never been finished by knockout or submission. He does take damage though. He averages 6.36 significant strikes absorbed per minute, which is one of the highest among current champions. But he gives almost as good as it gets, landing 4.36 per minute, 50% striking accuracy, and a 48% takedown accuracy. He's coming off a huge round 3 rear naked choke win over Kai Kara France. Let's look at Joshua Van. Vaughn is only 24 years old, one of the youngest ranked flyweights ever in a title fight. He weighed 125.5 last time and stands 5'5" with a 65-inch reach, holds a record of 15 wins and 2 losses. The striking numbers are insane. 8.86 significant strikes per minute, elite output, only 3.86 or 8.88 are absorbed. 57% striking accuracy, which is crazy for the UFC, and 81% takedown defense, which he's going to need against Pantoja. He's a very balanced finisher with a 60% finish rate, 47% of those wins by knockout, and 6 career decisions only. He's coming off a clear, unanimous decision victory over Brandon Royval, which is a fight that most people are saying a fight of 2025. That's insane. Key story of the fight is that this is violence versus volume. Pantoja's going to have those championship experience, submission threat in every single scramble, durability, and he loves creating chaos. Joshua Van's keys are going to be that insane output, which is nearly double Pantoja's. Higher and better striking defense, and he's younger, faster, with cleaner mechanics. If Pantoja gets the back, there's going to be trouble. But if this fight stays on the feet and can stay for the long stretches, Joshua Van's numbers will explode off the page and possibly give him a decision victory. Third fight on the main card is going to be a flyweight matchup between former champion Brandon Moreno versus Tatsuro Taira. And it's going to be for the number 1 contender matchup. So whoever wins this should theoretically be fighting Pantoja next. So we know that it's elite veteran in Brandon Moreno, one of the cleanest young prospects of Taira. Taira's a crazy submission threat, to say the least. Now, for Brandon Moreno, he's 31 years old. He has, I think, a reach of 70 inches and a height of 5'7", and he owns a record of 23 wins, 8 losses, 2 draws. He's extremely well-rounded with a 70% finish rate, 48 of that wins by submission, 48%. 44% striking accuracy, and a 44% takedown accuracy. Pace and durability are kind of what define him, with a 3.96 significant strikes landed per minute, 3.62 absorbed, so a little higher, but not crazy compared to Pantoja, and a 61% striking defense. And he's coming off several unanimous decision victories, one over Amir Albazi and one over Steve Urseg. Now, Tatsuro, the best Taira, is just 25 years old, super young. Weighs 126, the exact same height and reach of 5'7" and a 70-inch reach, and extremely efficient. A 60% striking accuracy, 49% takedown accuracy, lands around 2.87 strikes per minute while only absorbing 2.54. His biggest threat, his submission skills. He's a 76% finish rate with 47% of his wins by submission. Coming off a round 2 face crank submission, which is one of the more rare submissions because it means that the opponent refused to tap, so he switched over from going for the neck to trying to break their jaw, essentially. So it's one of the more rare finishes in the UFC. We last saw it against Khamzat Chimaev and Robert Whittaker. Key story of the night is going to be Moreno has the experience, volume, and pressure, while Taira has efficiency, timing, and submission danger. This fight is likely going to come down to, can Moreno drag Taira into deep rounds, or does Taira find that control and get that back mount and find an opportunistic grappling skills early? Main card fight number 2 is going to be a bantamweight fight. It's Henry Triple C Cejudo, the former Olympic gold medalist. I guess he never lose that. Versus Payne Talbot, who's a big, rising, explosive young prospect at 135. Cejudo's retirement fight. We know Cejudo is a 2-division champ. Let's go with him first. Cejudo's 38, so older, weighing 135 pounds, stands 5'4" with a 67-inch reach, has a 16-5 record. Key numbers to think about for him are 47% striking accuracy, a 31% takedown accuracy, 60% striking defense, and a 76% takedown defense. He averages around 3.82 significant strikes landed per minute, while absorbing only 3.45. He's a finishing rate of 50%, not crazy, not super low, a ridiculous resume of championship fights, but he's coming off a loss to Song Yadong via a weird eye poke decision. He says that he couldn't have kept going. I believe him. Let's look at Payne Talbot now. So, Payne Talbot, 27 years old, younger, 136 pounds, and he stands 5'10", which is a 6-inch height advantage, with a 70-inch reach advantage, which is 3.5 inches of reach, but a record of 10-1, so a lot less experience than Cejudo. He's tall, obviously rangy and explosive. He lands way more significant strikes per minute at 6.05, absorbs a little more at 3.26, if I remember correct. 55% striking accuracy, 77% takedown defense, which is huge against a former gold Olympic medal wrestler, and 70% of his wins is by knockout with 80% finish rate. He's coming off a unanimous decision victory over Felipe Lima. It's a classic prospect versus classic veteran clash. Cejudo's keys to victory are going to be experience and ground control with an IQ and pace management. Payne Talbot, massive size advantage, keep that range, lands more with the higher accuracy, and has legit knockout power. If Cejudo struggles closing the distance, Payne Talbot's length becomes a major factor. The first main card fight is Jan Blachowicz versus Bogdan Guskov at light heavyweight, 205 pounds. It's a brutal strikers matchup. Both guys are incredibly talented, more striking than in MMA rather than submission and wrestling, so it's going to be a firefight regardless. Look at Jan Blachowicz. He's 42 years old, former champion, weighs 205 pounds, and stands 6'2" with a 78-inch reach, and he carries a record of 29 wins, 11 losses, and 1 draw. / no contest. He's incredibly well balanced with a 50% striking accuracy, 49% takedown accuracy, 3.44 significant strikes landed per minute while only absorbing 3.03. He's a 62% finish rate and 9 knockouts, 9 submission wins, extremely balanced, coming off a loss by decision to Carlos Ulberg. His opponent is Bogdan Guskov, who is 33 years old, so younger, stands 1 inch taller at 6'3", and a 76-inch reach. He's weighing in at 205 pounds, a record of 18 wins and 3 losses. He's a destroyer. 83% of his wins by knockout, the other 17% by submission, 100% finish rate, 12 wins in the first round of those 18 total. Statistically, he has a 51% striking accuracy, landing 3.87 strikes per minute because that's all he needs is one, and absorbing 3.40. He's coming off a round 1 knockout of Nikita Krylov, which a lot of people have been knocking him out, but he's not an easy opponent to do so. The key stories for this fight is that Jan brings experience, craft, and a grappling ability that he needs to use. Guskov brings that explosive danger. If this fight is standing early, then Guskov is extremely alive, but over 3 rounds, if Jan can take that fight to the ground, his experience is going to become a major variable. Number 1 for the featured prelim is a lightweight matchup. It was tough to decide, but I'm going with Terrence McKinney versus Chris the Problem Duncan. Don't blink, it's 2 of the fastest starters and finishers in the division. We'll start with T-Rex. Terrence T-Rex McKinney is 31 years old, standing at 5'10" with a 73.5-inch reach, weighs in at 156 pounds, and his numbers are absolutely insane. 16 first-round finishes, 100% finish rate. I don't think he's never seen the scorecards or even gone past halfway through the 3rd round. 5.78 significant strikes landed per minute, which is absolutely wild, while only absorbing 2.58. A 40% takedown accuracy and a 78% takedown defense. His average fight time is 2 minutes and 47 seconds, and he just defeated Vyacheslav Borshev in round 1 by submission. Now, Chris the Problem Duncan is 32, so a little older, also 5'10", with a 71.5-inch reach, so 2 inches less, and a 14-2 record. He's powerful, but a more measured fighter, meaning he's seen the scorecards. Finishing rate of 71%, 50% of his wins by knockout, 4.64 strikes landed per minute, and only 4.53 absorbed. He's coming off a strong unanimous decision victory over Matus Rebecki, and that was a huge war between the 2 of them. Key story of this fight is that McKinney is a sprinter. He'll try to kill you in round 1, whereas Duncan is sturdier and more measured. If this goes past the 1st round, the fight can change dramatically. Now, for the last fight, we got women's flyweight fight, Macy Barber versus Karine Silva, which are 2 of the most dangerous finishers fighting both for a ranked spot in the top 10, top 15. We'll start with Macy, the future Barber, who's 27 years old, standing at 5'5" with a 65-inch reach and holding 14-2 record. Her strengths is that she's landing around 4.70 strikes per minute while only absorbing 2.90. 53% striking accuracy and a 55% striking defense with a 44% takedown accuracy. Finishing rate at 57% with 0 first round losses and 8 trips to the scorecards. She last beat Caitlin Carbonara in her last outing. Her opponent, Karine Killer Silva, is 31 but also 5'5", a longer 67-inch reach, and a record of 19 wins and 5, and she's a finishing machine with a finishing rate of 89%, 13 first-round finishes, a 47% KO rate, and a 42% or 43% submission rate. Statistically, she has a takedown or a striking accuracy of 38%, lands around 2.73 strikes per minute, and only absorbs 2.89. With the only 11% takedown defense, which I see as her biggest and most major weakness overall. She beat Diane Barbosa by decision in her last fight. Key story of this fight, it's a matchup of technique and consistency on Barber's behalf versus explosive killer be killed aggression on Silva's behalf. Barber is way more defensively sound and diverse, while Silva is by far the more deserving and dangerous finisher. This wraps up the full statistical and stylistic breakdown of UFC 323. 2 title fights, elite prospects, powerful finishers. This card basically has everything. However, you see these matchups playing out, the numbers tell us one thing, and that's we can expect chaos, violence, and expect the unexpected. If I have to go with my official predictions for UFC 323, the main event, I'm going Merab the Machine Dvalishvili to defeat Petr Yan via decision. I love both guys, but I think Merab is just that good. He dismantled Yan in the first fight. Yan was injured. I don't think it matters, though. Co-main event, I have Alexandre the Cannibal Pantoja to defeat the fearless Joshua Van via decision or submission. I'm hoping a round 3 submission for Pantoja. Brandon Moreno versus Tatsuo Taira. I'm going to roll with Taira via submission. But if that fight goes past the first round and a half, Brandon Moreno can pull it off by decision if he continues pressuring him. Cejudo versus Payne Talbot. I'm going with Talbot by knockout or decision. I think that Cejudo can't get past that range of Talbot, and if he tries too fast, he's going to eat a knee or get knocked out. For Jan Blachowicz versus Bogdan Guskov, I'm going to say Guskov by KO or Jan by decision. Can't really make a full prediction for this one yet, but I think if Jan can wrestle, he'll win. If Bogdan just stands on the feet and hits him, he'll knock him out every time. Terrence McKinney versus Chris Duncan, the first feature prelim of the night in my opinion. I'm going T-Rex by KO or submission. But again, if this fight goes over 2 rounds, Duncan can pull it off by a decision. In the second feature prelim of the night, give me Macy Barber to defeat Karine Silva by decision. Be sure to drop your predictions in comments below and let me know who you want to see next fight for the belts and who you think is going to win overall, and let me know how I did on this prediction and stylistic breakdown.